To use photo logging in Cronometer, what we're going to do is you're going to go down to the bottom and tap that orange plus symbol. Once you tap that, you'll see here at the very bottom there's a photo log. Go ahead and tap that as well. Now from here, it'll either let you take a photo or you can upload one that you already have. Upload a photo here. And what it's going to do is it's going to analyze your photo and it's going to try matching your foods. Now, this is AI based. You know your food better than what AI will, and it's obviously only looking at a 2D photo, but it does do a pretty dang good job. It's just something that we don't want to only rely on. We want to make sure that we do use our knowledge when it comes to actually tracking as well. So this is a tool to help make it easier, not a tool to replace us knowing how to track our food entirely. Now, obviously, once we have this though, it will be something that we can take a look at. Now, what I want you to do here is make sure that you ensure that all of this is correct. So here it tracked this as lettuce, iceberg lettuce. That is plenty good for us. It estimated about 57 grams. That's plenty fine here. We don't want to spend too much time analyzing super small amount of foods. Like this is obviously only 8 calories. We're not worried about that. We want to focus more on the big things here. So it obviously noticed that there was corn in there. This is actually a really good estimate as far as the portion size goes here. Bean wise, now this is where I know more about my food than it does. I know that underneath this there is a decent amount of beans. So what I'm going to do is I actually am going to edit this listing a little bit. Now, if you need to edit and change either the amount or serving size of something, what you're going to do is you're going to tap on the kind of teal green button here where it has the portion size. So I'm just going to click that. And now here's where I can update to what I think my listing actually is. So I just want this in grams, and I know that I put 100 grams of beans in, so I'm just going to update it to reflect that properly. So once you update it, then you can just click save and it's going to be updated accordingly. Now, if, for example, it chooses the wrong food, right? Where something isn't correct, we can swap it out. So for example, here, this kind of caught this as ground turkey. Well, I know that I don't have turkey in here, and this is actually ground chicken. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit that little button in the right-hand side that looks like a swap symbol. So we're going to click that, and look at that. It's going to suggest what it thinks it could be outside of what it originally logged. It did guess here that ground chicken is probably what it is. If it wasn't, you could simply, like if it doesn't list it here, you can click search for more here at the bottom. But since this does list ground chicken meat and that's what this is, I am going to list that out. Now again here, I do need to edit the portion sizes. So I'm gonna just again swap this to just being grams. I like that, it's easier for me. And I know that I put in 100 grams of ground chicken meat as well. So gonna make sure that that gets updated and save that. Now, if you're looking at your photo here and you notice that something is missing, this is where we can add a food. So you're simply going to click search for more if something isn't in here that you know you added. So for example, there are ground flax seeds here. So I'm gonna just search in ground flax seed. And then we see that there are plenty of options up here. Mine is the Badia brand. It doesn't really matter though. But once you do this, then you can go ahead and adjust to how much you put in. So I only have 10 grams in, but we're gonna make sure that we update that. Then once you add that in, just click save and repeat that for as many items as you have. One thing that I'm not going to bother logging is there is taco seasoning on that ground chicken. It's such a small amount, I'm not going to bother logging it. But if it did need to be logged, we would again just add it in here. Now, if something got added and it wasn't correct, you can simply swipe to the left to delete an item. That's all you'll need to know there. Now, finally, if this is something that you eat on the regular, what I want you to do is create a meal or recipe. If it's something that you're gonna be creating or eating on the regular, we wanna make this easier on you to track. So you'll click create, and then you can either tap create meal or create recipe depending on how you approach it. I would create a recipe, and I would just name this Ree's, there we go, Ree's ground chicken bean bowl. And then you can click next, and you can make it serving based or weight based. I like to make it weight based. Actually, this one I'm going to do serving based though. And then you can just click next. And if you want to add any notes, you can add notes here. I'm not going to. And then it will save that as a recipe. And then you can also click save and add to diary, which I am going to save and add to diary since we just went through all of that photo logging. And that's how you're going to do photo logging.